Welcome back to the New Media Review Weekly. It's me, your host, Joe. Some of you are happy to hear from me. Others not so much, apparently. We're going to read your comments on all the Eyes Wide Shut content that the NMRW has put out recently. Let's get into it. Okay, so first we're going to get into the video, was Stanley Kubrick signaling to insiders? This is where we went over the Salona connection. Well, I went ahead and I pinned a comment asking the question, do you think Kubrick was consciously warning us, or are we reading patterns after the fact? All right, so Frimports says, I am more and more convinced he was trying to subconsciously warn us. Was it directed at Epstein? Don't know, but it doesn't matter. Epstein, Diddy, these are just a couple of exploiters that we know about. Do you know how many others there are that we don't know about? No, I don't. And I don't know if that's a question or a statement. Ziegler fits the type we know from the party that Ziegler was sex trafficking models. All right, so people sort of... Eyes Wide Shut is so interesting because it makes people want to talk about the concept of the movie. It doesn't happen with every movie, obviously. Most movies suck, right? And the great ones, we talk about them on the NMRW. Oliver I. Rallius, something like that. Of course he knew. He saw things in Hollywood even back then. That's why he didn't F with Hollywood, stayed in England always. He knew where it ends. And Eyes Wide Shut is about that. Epstein, all of that. So I'm not sure what he means by he knew where it ends. I did go on to ask him if he saw Begonia, because I thought he would be interested in that. And we got into it a little bit. Ziegler looks kind of like Jeffrey, right? Nabokov, that's the author of Dream Story, the book that the movie is inspired by. Not based on, which we'll get into in a moment. We had a really good convo about that. Nabokov was describing the temptation and commonality of evil. They weren't goalposts. I'm not sure what he means by that. Kubrick was on the level with Nabokov, where decent men are. Epstein wanted touchdowns. All right, so, we're not going to get too much into the meaning of it, because I don't know what he's talking about. Would have liked Eyes Wide Shut more if Scientologist Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, daughter of an alleged pedophile, had not been cast. Michael Keaton and Cate Blanchett would have been better casting. From Kevin Farrell, 523. I don't know if he was a Scientologist at the time, and also, why would being the daughter of a ped affect your opinion of her? Just curious. That was my response. I do see what he's saying, obviously. Salona is named in the film. That is what I am talking about in the video. So, X Massive, he kind of caught on, in a way. At 8:52 does not look like Clinton at all. You can literally see an overlay of the face being edited on top of the original image. It looks like copy and paste using Windows Paint program. I responded, do you think I was overlaying his face to try and make people think that is what the mask looks like in the film? Come on, man. We try to have fun on the NMRW, but keep up. He says, no, dude, I've heard so much about this famous Bill Clinton painting dressed as a woman being artistic, but seeing it close up on your video, the painting isn't that flattering. We responded, I can't make out what you're saying. So, get those IQs checked out, and then tune in. And if you feel like you have something to say, think about it, and then go outside and step away from the computer, step away from the phone, and go. A lot of people saying that the human mask looks like Bill Gates. It definitely looks more like Bill Clinton. Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, a lot of Bills going on in this film. The orange mask looks like Trump. So, I get that. I guess... Oh, actually, that is crazy, because the orange mask looks like Trump. That is true. I want to show you guys this. Let's find this. It actually happens to be doing the Trump face with the lips, the sourpuss. That's really ironic. So somebody actually mentioned that. I was like, okay, I think we're talking about Clinton in the video. I didn't see anybody that looks like Trump, or I might have mentioned it. But then I realized, whoa, he's pursing those puss lips, and it does look like Trump. The next Eyes Wide Shut video I made was this one, You Don't Understand Eyes Wide Shut. Obviously, that's going to get people to watch. 71 comments, and I learned a lot from this one, too. And then the next one I learned even more from. So you can skip ahead, but don't stop watching now. Somebody said, I don't understand Eyes Wide Shut. I know this movie better than anyone. Come at me, bro. And we had 20 replies. I had a lot of fun here. This was Abolish Milo. Milo, if you're watching now, I'm going to call you Milo. Awesome job, and I appreciate you so much for taking the time, for going in depth with us here. I said, I believe you, but you have to tell me something. He said, go look at the poster and credits inspired by that book. The movie is definitely not close to the book. It's a super loose adaptation. Kubrick blatantly spells out the whole movie in one scene, and people still don't get it. Quadruple facepalm. So again, this is what Eyes Wide Shut does to people. It's either one way or the other, and there's no other way sometimes, but that's not really, I don't think that's what Milo is all about, because he does have a lot of good insights here. Of course, it's inspired by the book. He put all those themes into modern times. So you have to go watch this video to see my viewpoint on it. This is about what you guys said, right? But you can, I don't know if you can read any of my replies. I'm going to read these ones for you. It would have said based on if it was a close adaptation. It's a super loose adaptation. Your video is saying it's basically a copy. Kubrick made his own story, bro. Anyone with their eyes wide open can see what it's about. But people watch that movie while falling asleep. I said, well, bud, I'm trying to dig deeper, really. Give me a chance here. Because on this channel, I'm not an Eyes Wide Shut expert teaching. I'm exploring what I've learned about Eyes Wide Shut. Eyes Wide Shut is an exception to the rule in terms of film. I know there's a lot of movies like this, and I want to get into them on this channel, but this is such a big topic on YouTube right now. And I think the Criterion Collection, whatever, I don't know if it's a DVD or, I guess, Blu-ray? I don't know if it's 2005, but I guess they're releasing a Blu-ray. And it's like the special edition of Eyes Wide Shut, so that's going to be coming out. So it's going to ramp up even more the popularity on YouTube. And you better believe I'm capitalizing on it. So this Milo goes on, he says, it is pretty confusing. It's a lot less straightforward than The Shining. While The Shining has its share of symbolism and metaphor, the story itself is quite accessible. A man who resents his family becomes possessed by a haunted hotel and tries to murder them in order to redeem himself. I don't know if that's straightforward because we're talking about a haunted hotel, so already it's not straightforward, but in terms of plot, it could be straightforward, I guess. Eyes Wide Shut is intentionally misdirecting, hence the title itself. It's one of the best screenplays ever, I would argue. He filmed some scenes over 100 times to get the exact performances he desired, while offering as little direction to the actors as possible. I don't know about that, as little direction as possible. I think it was so much direction, and still have them do it so many times that it just had to be their own way. He was so meticulous about pretty much all aspects while making the film, and I would agree again, however, he used that remote control camera in this, and I'm going to try to insert some footage here, where Nicole Kidman is laughing at Bill, and it's very jittery. It's not natural. It takes you out of the film a little bit, and you say to yourself, why is the camera moving like that? But that's just me. That's what's also fascinating about Eyes Wide Shut. Like, the concept is so horrifyingly fascinating that the film can have these flaws and it doesn't matter. Yeah. It kind of goes back to the concept of when a movie is so beautiful that the story doesn't matter. Like we made the video, our last video before this one was Paris, Texas, when a story is terrible, but a movie is beautiful. That one pissed a lot of people off too. I had a pinned comment here. Somebody said, I don't think Kubrick movies are ever about just one thing. And that's not what I'm saying here in this movie. It's like, I don't know how saying it's based on the book is saying that it's about one thing. Here's a Stephen King quote. We all know how much Kubrick loves to stick strictly to the source material and not make it his own. Stephen King. Well, that's what he did on The Shining. I don't think he would have wanted to do that again because people hated what he did there. And The Shining stinks. Come at me. Agreed in part. This is from Overthinker P5D. Agreed in part, but Nicole did bewitch him out of frustration. The Eyes Wide Shut symbolically is we see these characters acting out these parts and we relate and watch these characters, Alice through the looking glass. We never see the inverse because we cannot fathom it. Tom, pleasure, cruise. Peeping, doubting Tom. Thomas, parenthetical. And Nicole. Nike, Nikki. Kidman, Nikki. Kid, man, goat. Now go find the Devil Tarot card, and voila, you're right where you need to be to truly understand it. So this goes to show you how twisted the logic going into watching Eyes Wide Shut is for some people. At 9:27 in the movie Eyes Wide Shut, at the first party they don't wear masks, but Dr. Bill says to Alice that he doesn't recognize anyone there, as if they had masks on. When I said they wear masks at the party, it was metaphorical, like we wear masks socially to fit in and to get through, the horror of life. Novels and films are two completely different mediums. Sure, the plot, what happens, may have come from the novel, but where did the visuals come from? Unless you're going to tell me that the novel contains Masonic pillars, rainbows, 8-pointed stars of the goddess Inanna, garden imagery on the walls. What I'm saying is, Kubrick wanted to do what Nabokov couldn't do in the time that the book was written. And if you don't realize that, just go research Nabokov. This was interesting. This was really wacky. Clinton Ortiz. Research what Fiona Barrett has to say about Kidman and her late father, Anthony Kidman. They're both real-life theistic Satanists who human sacrifice. I've never seen human sacrifice made into a compound hyphenate verb. I like that a lot. You go human sacrifice. That would make Kubrick in the know. And casting her no more coincidence. Art imitating life. Therefore, the decision of Nicole Kidman to play the specific role in the film is what is most ironic. Ironic? It sounds like it's the first thing you would expect to happen. She comes from a known family involved with Satanism. Yeah, that can't be disputed because that would never be in the public record, so we have to not be conspiracy theorists and have fun on the NMRW. Don't let me upset you this much. I think that this take is more right than wrong. This is from Emmanuel Goldstein 3. But there's definitely significant material beyond just the story of Bill and Alice. Personally, I think it's largely about unhealthy, distorted sexuality and the impact that has on us. I similarly feel that the cult is there mostly as an example of said unhealthy sexuality rather than it being the main point in the film, which seems to be how most people interpret it. And this was my favorite comment on this video. This was the most logical, the most straightforward, and this is somebody who can enjoy the movie without getting caught up in all the contemporary BS. That was really good. So look at this answer if you want to understand the movie. That's my opinion. Having smart people comment on my videos is a dream come true. If you have people smarter than you commenting on the videos you make, you're doing something right. And I appreciate you guys so much. Let's move on to the next video. The hidden patterns in Eyes Wide Shut that changes everything. Okay, so another title that's meant to grab you. I said, so what do you think? Is Eyes Wide Shut still your favorite dream thriller? I'm going to watch this movie again. I said, let me know what you think. That was Irvin. Irvin, weigh in on this. How'd you like it? Because, oh wow, here's Clinton again. Let's hear from him again. Forget about our friend Irvin for 1 second. Reese, oh, he left the same comment on another video, guys. Oh. So you want me to see this? Yeah, I get it, Clint. I do, but I got to move on. Since it's a dream and the director mentioned Jung, I saw this one the other day that this was good. He mentioned Jung concepts in previous movies. Maybe this movie can be explained by Jungian archetypes. And this is a sentence that I wish I had included in this video. He's explaining things better than I could. And I love to have you guys in the NMRW community. It's the New Media Review Weekly. Subscribe, like, and hit that bell. I'm not always like this. I'm a softie. But I'm very excited by the growth of our channel here. Patane 3680 says, yes, this is my favorite movie. Really freaked me out. I said when I saw the movie for the first time, I had chills the entire second half and dreamed about the film that night. It's in a class of its own. I actually really miss that. I wish that I could go back and see it again for the first time. It has lost a lot of the mystique, and me making videos on it didn't help. Let's go to The Wolf, Q2J. 13 days ago, he said, in Eyes Wide Shut, the masked ritual scenes were filmed at Elvedon Hall, an estate that once belonged to an Indian aristocrat living in exile during the 19th century. Okay. So an Indian aristocrat living at this Elvedon Hall where the ritual scenes are filmed. This accounts for the Oriental-style interiors, most notably the Grand Marble Hall where the ritual takes place, yada, yada, yada. These choices were not accidental. I don't think they were accidental. He showed a ritual in the movie. It's like there's those pictures that came out from the Salvador Dali party, and it's like people in animal heads, and it's ritualistic, whatever. I think that's where Stan Lee's head was at. I don't think that was in the pop culture as much as it is now from like the Joe Rogan Experience and stuff like that, and other conspiracy theory podcasts and shows. And Kubrick might have known about it because he's a famous guy in these, he could get a lot of information, Kubrick, by making phone calls, and he did that all the time. And there's a lot of different stories and interviews where you can learn about that. And he might have had connections to people who might have attended parties like that. I think that's where he was going. I don't think it's as deep as people are making it out due to the contemporary references that we can make. Let's see what the last comment is. He wasn't unalived over a dream, my friend. The book, of course, is an easy out. So this person's saying that Kubrick was killed, as if they know, and that's Brooke EE.2422. This movie is trash. Just stop. This movie is trash. Bebop boy. Somebody was like saying that's why your channel sucks, bro, because I was saying that in these 3 different videos you'll find contradictory points, things that seem contradictory, because I don't believe anything. I'm learning and telling you guys about stuff. So get out of the mindset when you're watching the NMRW where I believe stuff and I'm here to be expert. Because that's not what I'm going to do. That's not how I've ever taught myself. It's not how you've ever learned anything either, by thinking you're an expert on it. I think the film references... Okay, so this was interesting, a little too deep. I think the film's references are to a Semitic, yet pagan, polytheistic spirituality centered on the cults of Ishtar and Astarte, whatever that is. Kubrick and Schnitzler, the author of the book that inspired the film, were from the same chosen tribe. So this is going into the Judaism stuff. I don't want to get into anything anti-Semitic on the channel. And there's an Orthodox orientation, observant of the Torah. Okay, so this person's like thinks they're beating around the bush, being smart, affirming that monotheism of Moses and Abraham. And there's a temptation to rehabilitate these fertility and sensuality cults that predate the consolidation of this rabbinic and Talmudic Judaism of temple worship in Jerusalem. Okay, so I think we got into it. There was also... Oh, and then he kind of replied to his own comment, which is when you're really in bed with the ADHD and the Adderall kicking in. That's when you're just replying to your own comments at this point. Oh my God, they replied to their own again. Look. Wow. There is also the Vienna-New York connection, Psychoanalysis, Schnitzler, Freud, Klimt, and the New Gallery in New York. The world of assimilated Jews who championed Klimt. Schnitzler knew Freud and Klimt. A similar scenario played out in Paris and elsewhere involving figures such as Gertrude Stein. Gertrude I know from her relationship with Pablo Picasso, who I love dearly. Berth Weil. The brothers Leonce, Paul Rosenberg, and Peggy Guggenheim, patrons and dealers. All right, so this is getting into like the anti-Semitic side of things, which comes into Eyes Wide Shut a lot. I don't like that at all because I'm a big fan of Kubrick. and I'm a big fan of people from all over the world. So if you're interested in that and you're watching the NMRW, you could comment. This way I can block you. I like this one too. Mr. Renosis. It's a movie about dream and fantasies, just like the book it was based on. Okay. I hate that it's being repurposed by idiots for elite conspiracy. Believe whatever conspiracy you want. But this movie was not Kubrick trying to expose the PDF elite. And Alice is definitely not in on it. And they most certainly don't give their daughter to the cult. Elites don't use their own kids for abuse rituals. I said I agree 93%. He definitely added an element of exposing the elite. The Manhattan rich guy scene. But no, like I said in this video, it is not that deep. At a certain point, we have to face the music. It's a weird film made by an elderly dude who was physically ailing at the time. It's just a good little movie. I agree. All these new Salona, Epstein type things kind of coming out, they kind of ruin it. But it is interesting. And people love to watch it and comment on it. I'll probably feature your comment in my next video. Eyes Wide Shut, We Need to Talk, coming this Friday. It didn't come Friday. It's probably coming Sunday today or Monday. I'm going to end it there, guys. I learned a lot about Eyes Wide Shut by reading your comments. I appreciate all the thought that went into these. And if you're watching this again and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We're not going to focus on Eyes Wide Shut forever, but I will be revisiting it probably time and time again because it's huge in the world of cinema. And it's kind of a timeless piece. And Nicole Kidman is very beautiful. Tom Cruise, gorgeous. And Kubrick, God bless. Thanks for tuning in to the NMRW. Like, subscribe, comment, and hit that bell. My name's Joe, and you just listened to the New Media Review Weekly.